Thanks for tuning in to the Vintage Cinema Review. On this week's episode, we're covering from 1980, Caddyshack.
The hilarity of golf, gophers, and 2 balls, 1 cup.
Zap, you'll get nothing and like it.
Yeah.
Or Spalding.
Yep. This is a true classic. Really enjoyed this one, and we hope you're enjoying the show. Speaking of which, leave us that 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple. On Apple, you can leave us a written review. Really help us out. And sit back, relax, and enjoy Caddyshack. Hey, this is Dave.
Matt.
And Zap.
And welcome to the Vintage Cinema Review.
Where every week we review some of our favorite films from the past.
Hey, there ain't no late fees here.
Silence is golden. And be kind. Rewind.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's going on?
Hey.
Little premature.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, we'd like to welcome all of you to the Vintage Cinema Review.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
We got a good one today, man. I'm excited for this one.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I know I've seen this like 100 times, and I never get tired of it.
I've seen this movie a few times over the years. I remember very, very early on seeing this as a kid and being infatuated with that little gopher.
Little gopher.
Yeah.
Golfer.
Yeah, so what movie are we talking about?
The movie of which we speak is Caddyshack.
Yeah, Caddyshack, 1980.
Classic.
So I was like 4, 5.
Was that what it was? 80?
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
This movie's 43 years old, bruh.
Yep.
Timeless.
Yeah, so rated R, appropriately. Release date to be exact, July 25th, 1980. Running time on this, 98 minutes. This was directed by Harold Ramis. Well-known name. We all know that guy.
Oh, yeah. Egon Spengler.
That's it.
R.I.P.
Yep. And written by Brian Doyle Murray, brother of Bill, Harold Ramis, and Douglas Kenny. And this was produced by Douglas Kenny. Budget on this. You guys know?
$10 million.
Matt, yes?
8 million.
So it says between 4.8 and 6 million.
Okay.
Yeah. And box office, 60 million.
God damn. That's some good money.
That's pretty good.
The juice is worth the squeeze on that one.
See, what was the one we just talked about? It was like 10 to 12 or something like that.
Again, juice is worth the squeeze on that.
Yeah, that was Office Space.
Office Space.
$10 million budget, made 12.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that was at the box office.
So this was 4 to 6 million. They made 60 million. 60.
Yeah, roughly 4.8 to 6 million. And these are all, these numbers could be off, obviously, but I'm sure they're ballpark. And then a $60 million box office.
Well, no, this, you look at the names in this movie at the time where in the 80s, our dads were way younger than what we are now. And It's like those names were huge.
I'll often wonder about like looking back at 1980. Obviously, we were young, and in our minds, like Bill Murray, Chevy Chase,
Sure.
Rodney Dangerfield, like you're just like, oh my God, it's so star-studded. But I wonder in 1980, like in their minds, it's like no Burt Reynolds or
Right.
What level were these guys at?
I would love to know who was the highest paid actor in this movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have that.
And like again at 4.8 to 6 million, like I don't know. I guess it was kind of spread around though.
Yeah. I don't know if there was that Burt Reynolds that guy that's like 1 million, and then everybody else gets 40,000 or something like that.
Well, Chevy Chase in the late 70s, early 80s was Saturday Night Live, correct?
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Rodney Dangerfield was already doing appearances on Johnny Carson.
Yep.
Things like he was a huge
I think
comedian.
This was his first movie, I believe.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I believe you are right.
And we'll get into the cast of characters. We'll,
Right.
we'll discuss
No,
that.
go ahead, man. You're on it. Hell, you're watching the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such good one-liners. I'm trying not to mess them up.
Not to bust it.
I've never
fair.
seen this before, so I'm trying to watch it as we're
going.
as we're mid-record.
Yeah, so this movie was filmed September 5th, 1979, and it ended filming November 21st, 1979. Filmed in Florida and Los Angeles. Actually, that beginning scene where they're driving, or where he's riding his bike through the neighborhoods.
Yep.
There's a sign there for
Bushwoods,
Country Club. That's actually the Bel Air entrance for Bel Air.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that part there was filmed in. I was thinking those houses are a little fancy for where they're supposed to be, which we'll get into. But
You know what was funny, real quick, in that opening scene? How many kids were in that damn house?
yeah.
Yeah. Lot.
They just kept on, like, there was just more and more kids.
Yeah, there were a lot.
And some of them were cousins, I guess, but I don't know how many kids were in that house. Had to have been like 15, I counted.
Yep. They said that they chose Florida as a filming location over LA to keep studio execs out of their hair.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the filming locations and all that good stuff. Budget, So I guess I'll turn it over to Zap for the cast.
Yeah, absolutely. So the cast in this classic, you got Chevy Chase as Ty Webb, Rodney Dangerfield as Al Cervic, Ted Knight as Judge Elihu Smales, Lois Kibbe as Mrs. Smales, Michael O'Keefe as Danny Noonan, Bill Murray as Carl Spackler, Sarah Holcomb as Maggie O'Hooligan, Cindy Morgan as Lacey Underall, Scott Columbi as Tony D'Annunzio, Dan Resin as Dr. Bieber, Henry Wilcoxon as Bishop Fred Pickering, Brian Doyle Murray as Lou Loomis, John F. Barman Jr. as Spalding Smales, Jackie Davis as Smoke Porterhouse, Thomas A. Carlin as Sandy McFiddish, that's the groundskeeper, the Scotsman,
Yeah.
and finally, Tim Lawrence as the puppeteer of Mr. Gopher.
Yeah, that part. That's what I was saying. I was like probably like 7 or 8 the first time I saw it. Remember being a little kid, and I love that.
All
scenes
kids
with the
love
Gopher.
the Gopher.
Yeah, that was like the best part.
To
back
this
then.
day, that's still big with Caddyshack's still big in like the golf world out there, but you see a lot of like the Gopher head covers and a lot of Caddyshack stuff. Judge Smales, the one hat in the. We'll get into that.
Yeah, Tiger Woods. That's his favorite movie. He said.
Really?
Caddyshack. Yeah. Yep. So I guess that's it for the cast. We'll turn it over to Matt for the synopsis.
Yeah, here's a brief synopsis of our movie this afternoon. Caddyshack. Greenskeeper Carl Spackler is about to start World War III against the Gopher. Pompous Judge Smales plays to win. And playboy Ty Webb shoots perfect golf by becoming the ball. A country club foundation, Al Cervic, just decided a $20,000 bet on a 10-foot putt. Insanity. No, Caddyshack. Chevy Chase, Rodney Dangerfield, Bill Murray, and Ted Knight tee off on a side-splitting round of fairway foolishness. This was National Lampoon's Animal House did for fraternities and Police Academy did for law enforcement. With Harold Ramis, National Lampoon's Analyze This, directing, the virtuoso comes skills for all four to blend into a riotous hole-in-one for comedy fans. Caddyshack.
Nice.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I like that.
That sounds wonderful.
So Caddyshack, a true classic. Hopefully you've seen it. I think it's a must-watch, but if not, Zap's going to take us through, I guess, the storyline.
Yeah, absolutely.
All the fun parts and all that good
let's,
stuff.
Let's jump into this because this truly is a fun movie, man.
Mhm.
I mean, come on, everyone. God, I don't know anyone who hasn't seen this.
Okay,
movie.
hey, we can't say that
I'm
yet.
saying I don't know anyone.
I don't think I have known. But there is some movies here that I've had, feedback. People said, "Hey, you were saying the one time that, oh my God, who hasn't seen this movie, this and that."
Right.
But there are some people out there that maybe they
like
just
some-
didn't have the chance,
Some Caddyshack virgins out
or
there.
maybe some young kids in their 20s like Caddyshack. I seen it, but I never really watched it.
Well, my son walked in. He got home from work. I was about 10 minutes in, and he sat down and loved it because he's into golf now. And all
Yeah,
that. So he got. I said, "Oh, you should check this out. Your leg," and then he was hooked immediately. So
Yeah, I can't imagine why not. Damn, this is a good movie. All right, this is a movie where we open with a morning at the Noonan house, where close to a dozen kids are readying themselves for the day. Specifically, we meet Danny Noonan, a caddy at Bushwood Country Club. We soon meet one of the club's best golfers, Ty Webb, for whom Danny regularly caddies. Not long after, we're introduced to Judge Smales, one of the founders and executives of the club, and Sandy McFiddish, the head greenskeeper. They've discovered that a gopher has made its way into the club and could very well wreak havoc on the grounds. Have no fear, Sandy's put his best man on the job, Carl Spackler, who, among other oddities about him, has a penchant for voyeurism when it comes to older female golfers.
yeah, that part was funny. Like he was just checking out those older women.
Screen, you little dirty monkey.
Yeah, he's cleaning the balls and it looks like he's trying to rubbing one out, but really he's just cleaning balls.
Yeah, like soaping them up.
That was a good one.
How old were those ladies?
They're like 70s, 60s. Well, back then,
No, I
they
think
might have
they're-
been 50.
They were probably 50.
50s.
They were in
All
their 50s.
I'll definitely
early
get 50s. But
An
man,
80s 50 looks like a 20 70. You know what I mean?
so creepy. So this movie, I mean, look, from the gate, this movie it's a simple plot line, But really, what makes this movie, in my opinion, is certainly it's all about the dialogue. It is absolutely all about the one-liners. Like in the very beginning, you know, Danny's already at the club, gets to the club after driving by all these lovely houses and, you know, making his way into the club. He's already caddying for Ty. You take drugs, Danny? Good.
Good, yeah. You know what struck me too is I mentioned that in the beginning how they shot that scene in the beginning of Bel Air, going into Bel Air,
Yep.
you know, in L.A. and obviously it's supposed to take place in Nebraska, which I
What?
think this movie's.
Did they ever say that?
They did. It's to take place in Nebraska.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
I'm just now learning this.
When did they say Nebraska?
Chevy Chase references something in the beginning when they're talking. It comes up there, but if you look up online, the facts on this movie, it's Nebraska. It's
Like
where
a lumberyard or some shit?
there was something, a comment that he makes, I believe, that references Nebraska. But it's for sure that's the setting
I
for
did
it.
not know that. That's a fun fact.
That's
right
an
there.
incredible fact.
Yeah, but I was just saying, knowing that, and then like I looked up the facts before the movie. He did say that, and then knowing that and looking at like the houses and just the area where they're at,
Yeah.
like it doesn't really match up. I've never been to Nebraska. I have a feeling it doesn't look like
It
Bel
does
Air.
not look like Bel Air.
Maybe
No.
parts. I mean, I'm sure there's money out there, but
in Nebraska.
or Florida.
And corn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot of corn.
A lot of corn.
no palm trees or anything
No.
out there.
And the beginning too. I like the Kenny Loggins also.
Yeah, the music.
Yeah, he just does wonders for soundtracks on movies.
He's music gold for
Yep.
any movie.
Any movie.
So he was in a band right before that, like the Itty Bitty.
Loggins and Messina.
Yes.
He was
Yeah.
in a duo.
Wasn't there another band like Itty Bitty something?
No,
or
Loggins and Messina, and then he went to just
Loggins.
pure Kenny.
Now,
Okay.
but I see what you're saying, though. What was it before? He had a name for himself. Like, what made the name? Arguably, though, I mean, you think as a comparison, you have Simon and Garfunkel, right?
Mhm.
So they started as Simon and Garfunkel. It's not like they were in separate bands or they were in a band together and then split off. They just started as themselves.
Right.
Maybe Loggins did the same with Loggins and Messina.
Mm.
Again, if he was in another band,
Mm-hmm.
man, that's a fun fact. I'd love to get a mailbag on
Yeah,
that.
maybe Loggins just knew that he just wanted to be Kenny Loggins.
This was, they said, like his first like so where he went and wrote
Mhm.
this by himself.
Oh, no shit.
And
I
that
did
kind of
not know
spawned this kind of spawned him doing Footloose and then Top Gun and all those, you know, what I mean?
Over the
But-
Top. is
Yeah,
also-
Over the Top. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
You're saying Meet Me Halfway?
Yes.
Okay, but the song Over the Top was done by Sammy Hagar.
Oh, yes. The
Yeah.
song. Yes, very good fact. Yes. But Meet Me Halfway was on the Over the Top soundtrack.
Right.
But they played that like 9 times if you watch it.
Nine times.
That's all they play. But yes,
Constantly.
that's when Sammy Hagar was. Was he in a band or was it just Sammy Hagar?
He
So,
might have been solo then.
so Sammy Hagar started out in a band. God damn, it was a band. I forget the
Okay.
name. I forget the name, and then he went solo.
That's when he had like I Can't Drive 55 and all that other
Yeah, what was the name
jazz.
of that band? It was one word, and it was the name of a dude in the band.
Let's mailbag that one in too.
I might get it by the end of this.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay.
Anyway, lean, mean, and not too far between, says Carl on those old hags. Anyways, as the character development continues, we're introduced to Lou Loomis, the head of the country club's Caddyshack, and Tony D'Annunzio, a caddy not unlike Danny, who's a bit of a bully. Today, Tony's caddying for the Haverkamps, an elderly couple. After a short scuffle between Danny and Tony over the increase in price of bottles of Coke, we learn that caddy scholarship has once again become available.
Yeah, that's about the scene where my son walked in when his caddies were like hanging out and he was selling him a Coke, you know, and there was that scuffle.
Yeah.
He knocked over like gumballs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he gives him 50. What's his name? Tony gives him $1 and he gives him a bottle of Coke and 50 cents back. He's like, where's the other quarter? He's like, sorry, man, Lou's been losing at the track.
Yeah,
Had
inflation.
had to increase prices.
Well, you ain't getting no Coke.
Oh, then you don't get no Coke.
Yeah. That was that Italian-looking kid.
Yeah.
D'Annunzio.
Who-
But he had like a sister and like 2 other brothers working there.
Also true.
Yeah.
He also smoked like a broke stove.
Oh, yeah.
He always had a cigarette. Forever had hell. He smoked getting in and out of a pool at some point.
So I'm gonna start calling you Zap Nunzio.
That's
Zap
fine.
Nunzio, yeah.
I'm cool with that. So yeah,
Nunzio.
you're right. So they there's a scuffle. So as a result of that, the 50-cent Coke fight or argument, Lou comes back, and now Danny all of a sudden has to face the music because he's being a smart ass with Tony. So they step outside. They're going to start throwing. And Matt had aptly pointed out, Tony's got a bunch of brothers or sisters that work there, and the one jumps off the roof and lands on Danny's shoulders. That's how they break the gumball machine. Gumballs are everywhere. Lou comes out, breaks it all up. Pick up that blood.
Yeah, pick it up.
Yeah, it's like, there's been a lot of complaints already. Poor caddying, stuff like that. He's like
Smoking grass.
Yeah.
And Brian Doran Murray there looks like a guy who go to the track. You know what I'm saying? With that hat, that outfit on. He's looking looking very svelte.
Well, it kind of looks like, oh my God.
He does, for sure.
Bit.
When you first meet Lou, he's sitting in the Caddyshack. He's making bets.
Oh yeah.
He's calling in the bets with his book. He's betting on the races. So around this scene, in fact, right after this is when we get that champion dissertation from Carl when he talks about his caddying for the Dalai Lama.
Oh, that was great. Yeah.
I mean, that to this day is repeated over and over and over again.
And that very end of it, he's like, "What? You'll have consciousness on your deathbed."
But when you die your deathbed,
I got that going for me.
You will receive total consciousness,
which would be horrible.
So I got that going for me, which is nice.
Amazing.
Well, that wouldn't be good though, right? You wouldn't want that.
Yeah, that's the cool part. Like anybody else wouldn't want that except Carl. Where you think
he wants it
because it was given to him by the Dalai Lama.
Right.
So according to his story, we don't know if that really happened. It's just Carl.
He just jumped ship in Hong Kong. He made his way to Tibet, and he got on his looper over the course in the Himalayas. A looper, yeah, looper. Caddy, a jock. Anyways, so good, man, so good. The hammer camps, the old folks that D'Annunzio's caddying for.
Right.
I mean, you're talking. They hit a ball 5 feet if they're lucky. That's a peach, hon.
Oh, baby, I'm hot tonight. Or
when she hitting onto the water.
Yeah.
Wee.
Yeah. Tony had to actually direct them. Like he had to twist them around a little bit. No, you got to hit it that way. Just hit it that way.
That's where he comes back. He just wants a Coke, and he didn't want to deal with that.
Nope.
After the Haver camps.
Meanwhile, back at the clubhouse, we're introduced to Dr. Bieber, Smoke Porterhouse, and Judge Smale's nephew, Spaulding. Well, what about my asthma? I'll give you asthma. We're also introduced to the obnoxious and hilarious Al Cervic, who's brought his friend Wang to the club. I never get tired of this. Hey, Wang, I think this place is restricted, so don't tell him you're Jewish.
Yes, Wang is a Chinese gentleman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Not long after, we're introduced to the sultry lacy underall that is a Madonna with meatballs, according to D'Annunzio. Anyway, Cervic and Judge Smales have already gotten off to a rocky start to their relationship as their day of golf commences.
Hey, you have this quote here, and I don't get this other one. I think we skipped over it, but that's the worst hat I've ever seen. I bet you buy a hat like that, you get a free bowl of soup.
It looks good on you,
though. What do you think you meant by that? I don't get the bowl of soup reference.
No, it looks like a homeless person's hat.
Oh, okay. I got you. I didn't even catch that joke.
Yeah.
He's saying it looks like a homeless person.
You get a hat like that, you get a free bowl of soup.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
But it looks good on you, though.
Right.
Porterhouse. Yes, Judge, sir.
Then he took the hat off, right?
Yes, he did. He just walked away in shame.
Yeah, he just threw it down. I do like Porterhouse.
Porterhouse is great.
Well, I'll give you. What was the joke?
So Judge Smales says, this is in the locker room. Judge Smales says to the bishop, he says, "Hey,
Bishop, who's a Catholic bishop,
not Catholic.
He's not.
I don't think he's Catholic.
I think he is because that's why he makes the Catholic reference. Like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, no, that's what he says. He says, "Are you Catholic?" And he says,
"Yes,
yes." And then the bishop says, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that." Which means that he's not Catholic. He's a Methodist or Protestant bishop.
I was thinking as like a bishop as a Catholic one, just being like, I'm sorry to hear that. Like being a Catholic. I don't know. I took it that way.
I'm pretty sure the bishop is not a Catholic bishop.
Okay.
I would say, but look, I've been wrong once.
It just sounded like it was funny the way that I seen it portrayed.
Judge Smales says to the bishop, he says, "Hey, have you heard the one about the Jewish guy, the something guy, and the colored guy?"
Boy. Yeah, the colored boy or something.
And the bishop says, yeah, and that was a funny one. And that's when you learn that he's a bishop.
That's a doozy, Judge.
Yeah, and then Porterhouse overhears it, and he said, "What, colored boy?"
He just pulls his shoes right
he's
up.
cutting. Yeah, he's like doing his spikes up.
Yeah, he was supposed to polish the shoes for Judge Smales.
I want these polished and buffed with a fine chamois.
I thought he was sharpening the spikes or something on there.
No, he was just trying to buff them up, and then he just took it all the way through, and he was very upset.
Yeah.
Judge.
It's funny how like those pro shops never really changed. I saw the same stuff you see. You go in a pro shop now, Titleist, like Ping, like all those brands and the clubs and everything, like nothing really changed over the years. Like all the same brands of golf equipment that you would have had in the early 80s, late 70s, still the same shit today.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just...
This is one of the things that I found was good about this movie is you watch it as an adult, as an older guy, as an older woman. These characters that you see, the way that they start developing them, like you start seeing that Schmales is kind of like, just kind of like an asshole. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You see Shervick is just like this, just like loving life. Like the guy's having fun. Like I'll take a couple of those, a couple of these, a couple of them naked lady tees.
Yeah, he's just enjoying life.
Yeah,
a lot of money.
The whole Schmale. Yeah, just enjoying what he made for himself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so this whole thing, Smales and Cervic are going out golfing. Now they're not golfing together.
Right.
In fact, Cervic shows up and he's waiting for Smales to start, and he already is busting his balls. And that's like, if you remember the scenes of Judge Smales keeps grabbing that club and twisting it, like he just won't let it. He keeps trying to line himself up with the ball, and it takes forever. And anyway, Cervic, just goes just nuts about it.
Right.
But at the same time, we see that Danny is really hopeful and really interested in getting that
scholarship.
caddy scholarship. So, I mean, he's brown nosing and he's now caddying for Smales because he wants to, catch up with him. That's when he says to him, like, hey, I've often thought about entering the priesthood or whatever.
Yeah.
To which the caddy following says, I've often thought about becoming a golf ball or a golf club or some shit.
Something like that. But that's where I'm telling you, I think the bishop's Catholic. I think that's why he just is like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know.
There was a great line for a great line to Rodney or to Cervic when somebody asked him, hey, you want your driver? Oh, his caddy says, hey, you want your driver? To which he responds, no, he's not my type.
Not my type, yeah.
Oh, no.
We were talking about the Gopher club heads covers,
yes.
Head covers. Did either of you notice that Cervic's head covers are boxing gloves?
Boxing gloves, I did see that.
That was cool as hell, man. In his oversized, ridiculously oversized bag.
It had TV in it.
It had a draft.
Phone.
Yeah, phone.
And that's right, and a car stereo.
Mm-hmm.
But that was, you said when Judge Smales get ready to hit, he's like, $100 or whatever, I bet you slice it in the woods. He's like, and I never slice. And sliced it.
Sliced it right in.
And he's like, I didn't mean anything by that. Or, it was good. It was good.
Oh,
well,
man.
I golf, and I know what it's like. Somebody gets in your head. It's going to make you screw up and all that.
It does.
This guy was right in his head from the get-go.
Right in his head. But, dude, he just runs everyone. Like D'Annunzio, he says, Italian D'Annunzio's his cervix caddy.
Yeah.
He says, Italians consider this skilled labor. I mean, that's just little shit like that. That's hilarious. Or he's talking about Wang. He says, yeah, Wang here just bought property behind the Great Wall. On the good side.
That's what they call a scalali or whatever you call it. I didn't even get that one. I was like, what the hell is he talking about?
That's we were talking about before we even started. It's during these scenes here where Spaulding goes off what he wants to eat. Mm-hmm. He's like, I want a hamburger.
No, I want a cheeseburger.
I want a hot dog. I want potato chips. You'll get nothing and like it.
We were saying that's still something that I use to this day.
You'll get nothing and like it.
You'll get nothing and like it.
Absolutely. Now it's also this cluster of scenes ends with, again, Brown Noser Danny looking to get that scholarship. So Smales is so pissed off and frustrated with Cervic at this point that he throws his putter and he just blindsides this woman that's sitting at her table eating lunch or dinner with her husband. So Danny comes over and takes the rap for it and whatever.
Yeah, sorry,
the judge sees that and is like, "Hey, man, that's a real solid thing you did there. That's real nice."
That was cool. Yeah,
it was my fault. The grips were worn. I should have said something.
Should have known.
The grips were worn. Classic. All right. Well, anyway, that night we find Carl readying himself for his planned assault on the Gopher. Meanwhile, there's an extravagant dinner at the club for the 4th of July banquet, and all appear to be in attendance. Lacey has taken a liking to Ty, and Danny has taken a liking to Lacey.
Who hasn't?
And Cervic is the life of the party.
What was funny, I looked, there's a one-liner in there. I think it's a Beeper, and he sees Lacey over there standing. He's like, oh, somebody's giving you the big eye or whatever to Ty. And they look over at Lacey, and Beeper, Dr. Beeper, was like, oh, I think I've known her from Hobe Sound. So I looked up Hobe Sound, and it's like this vacation spot in Florida.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's some things on there that he's like, oh, I recognize her from Hobe Sound.
So she gets around. Is that what they're trying to say?
Yeah. Like she just likes to party.
She is, according to Maggie, she gets around.
She's been plucked more than the Rose of Tralee.
That's right. That's right.
And I looked that up too. It's actually like a thing in Ireland where they like give away like these women are looking for men or whatever.
Oh wow.
She's been plucked more times.
Well, she had no brawl on under that.
No,
shirt.
she was very.
Correct.
I mean, everything
nipply.
was just.
It must have been cold in there.
Oh, I know.
It was
Big time.
noticeably cold in there. I mean, so again, we talk about the one-liners in this movie. I mean, so we're at this dinner scene, and Cervic is just nailing it. Rodney
after
Dangerfield
another.
is one after another. Man, I had better food at the ballpark. I can still see the marks from where the jockey was hitting it.
Dog food.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were pissed.
He's walking around. He's like, Jesus, I never saw dead people smoke before. You know, the graveyard's 2 blocks to the left.
Yeah.
Also, with the I still use that like with the kids or with the family. Like, if somebody step on a duck.
Yeah.
Like when he
that's
farts
right.
at dinner.
the dinner
But like
table.
everybody's just cracked. Like they love him.
Yeah.
Like he
He's
has
like a
this
party
little,
guy.
like a little group, like his entourage. He has an entourage.
Yeah, hangers on, as it were. Oh man, I love it when he sees Smales' wife. He's like, oh, you must have been something before electricity.
Oh,
That was good.
So I actually use this one quite frequently. If anybody asks me a question and I don't want to answer it, I'll just respond with, "Can you make a shoe stink?" So he says to Tony,
the bull shark.
a bull shot. Can you make a bull shot? To which Tony responds, "Can you make a shoe stink?" So fun fact, a bull shot is a Bloody Mary where you substitute tomato juice for beef broth.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Never knew
that
that.
is a drink. It is a bull shot.
Ah, good kid. Now I know why tigers eat their young.
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you get yourself a good haircut, a decent haircut?
You wonder if that was all like improvised or if he had it written out.
I think they said it on the Caddyshack special. Most of this was just
So this guy, when you mentioned it earlier at one point that this might have been his first movie. I think it was because when Ramis would say action, when he would yell action, Ronnie didn't. He would just stand there. He
didn't know what to do,
He's no
yeah.
actor. He doesn't know what the hell action means. So Ramis had to say, whenever it was a scene with Rodney, he would just say, "Okay, Rodney, do your bit,"
And he'd do like his comedy.
and he would do that. And that was action for Rodney, and he nailed it every time.
Oh, yeah.
Want to make $14 the hard way? So in this one scene, we obviously see Spaulding driving or walking around. He's drinking everybody's leftover drinks.
Mm.
And now, look, I never did that as a kid. If I'm at a wedding or some shit,
a wedding.
Yeah.
Me and my cousins would do that.
I don't know if I did or I did.
The
I might have drank from
backwash.
I might have drank from people I knew, but not like
Yeah.
strangers.
No, I think
No.
they weren't strangers. It's all family, like at a wedding. I remember like one of the weddings, like me and 2 of my cousins, we were going around because, some of the weddings get pretty
Pretty loose.
towards the end of the night. So like parents get drinks. Like your dad got like 4 drinks lined up.
Yeah, he
Like,
forgets.
They forget. They will put them down, dance with somebody. You're like, I'll take that one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
A lot
So I
of
guess it wasn't, perfect strangers. We're not drinking like Balky Bartakamus here. But
Right. That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair. So I can recall. So anyway, he gets that, and he gets that last drink he gets has a cigarette butt in it, and it's sitting there on his tongue. So he stumbles outside and he pukes into Dr. Beeper's Porsche through the sunroof. So fun fact: your friendly neighborhood Zap, when he worked at a grocery store in college, we would sit outside and smoke cigarettes. Smoke break or whatever. You just run outside and smoke cigarettes. So there would be a handful of us sitting there, like on the bench or on the top of the bench with your butt way up on the top, and you're just all hanging around. So you walk out you're at a grocery store, you're going to have something to drink, right? A can of soda, some shit, a bottle of something.
Right.
So I'd had a can of Coke with me, and I'm just sitting there. I'm not paying attention. I'm out there with a bunch of people smoking, and I take a sip of my can of Coke, and there's a fucking cigarette butt in my Coke that went like it's in my mouth now. Immediately vomit.
Threw up.
Immediately vomit.
Was it your
that's
own
nasty.
cigarette?
No, somebody else put their
Butt
cigarette
out in your shit.
in my can, thinking it's an empty can, or just being. I'm sure it wasn't somebody being an asshole. It was just like, oh, it's a can. People put cigarettes out in cans or whatever.
I can one up that. I know, well, not me personally, but I know somebody that they had a friend that chewed.
Yeah.
And they picked up the wrong,
Oh Jesus!
like a spit. Somebody did it into a can. You know what I mean? And you talk about.
That is nasty. Oh God!
I mean, not to say that
that's nasty.
Yeah. Not to say that that's not bad too, what you were saying, but I couldn't imagine drinking somebody's spit.
It's funky. All right. So the next day is the caddy tournament, which Danny handily wins. The win earns him an invite to Judge Smale's yacht club after he mows the judge's lawn. It's also Caddy Appreciation Day at the pool, where all caddies are welcome from 1 o'clock to 1:15. In the meantime, Carl continues his hunt for the gopher while obsessing over older women golfers. That night, Lacey pays Ty a visit at his house.
Yeah.
Carl again. So Carl sees these old broads, and he's just going off on his one line. He's like, "Oh, man in the boat overboard." When she bends over.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The man in the boat.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The slot.
That's right. Let's see. Ty tells his story of his roommate to Danny. He's telling the story of Mitch Cumstein. He also says, "Oh, a flute with no holes is no flute, and a donut with no holes is a Danish." Classic. So for the caddy tournament, there was first, second, and third place.
Mm-hmm.
So second place, you won a pair of socks. Third place was a bag of teas. What was first place?
Was it not the
it was the scholarship.
Is that what that was?
Caddy scholarship.
I took it that way, but I don't know for sure.
All right, I'm thinking it is. All right, that makes sense. Here's a line I use all the time. You shave your ass. So all these little kids are running around the pool or whatever, and they're like, somebody says, "Hey, put your suit on." To which the kid responds, "You shave your ass." Okay.
What's that mean? I wonder.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That is a weird,
like a response.
That's an odd one.
Somebody tells her to put her suit on. She tells somebody else to go shave their ass.
Your ass.
It's a thing in the
That's
80s,
an 80s
I guess.
jab,
yeah.
I guess.
I don't know. The caddies synchronized swimming. That was pretty weird. Lacey arrives, of course. Oh man, Lacey arrives. Everybody, the music stops. Everybody's watching her walking in on those platform pumps as she's making her way to the dive.
Yeah.
Does this perfect dive, gets out. She creeps her way over to D'Annunzio.
Yeah, the Nunzio had he had like a tighter suit on than her.
Yeah, he really did.
Yeah,
I was like, man.
good. Yeah.
Those shades were pretty sweet though. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, those Mavericks.
Yeah,
absolutely, dude.
Yeah, they were cool.
This is also, I mean, the famous, absolutely famous Baby Ruth gets tossed in the pool.
That wasn't exactly. Lacey didn't dive into the pool. That was a stunt double.
It wasn't her.
Yeah,
Was it really?
That was a stunt double.
Why? I wonder if she couldn't dive.
Not like that. It's like
Oh, 'cause it was a good
good dive.
Mm.
And what was the other one? Yeah, the caddy synchronized swim. I read something about that. Like I think that was kind of improv. Ramus was kind of like,
Sure, why not? We're
yeah, he
having
was
fun.
kind of like on, I don't know, on the fence about that. And I guess they just went and did their thing.
Makes sense. It's fun.
It is fun. It's fun.
Yeah, the synchronized swimming thing. Yeah, I thought that was a little odd.
Yeah,
Bizarre.
I don't think it belonged in the movie, but
Mm.
that would be one of my only things that I thought that was a weird part.
Yeah, but you'll have that shit back in the day. Like
Sure.
they've always done things that we look back on it now. Like that was cheesy.
That's
corny, but
that's it.
yeah.
It's just slapstick cheese.
Right.
Yeah,
Why
right.
not? Much of the Ty and Lacey scene at Ty's house.
When they were smashing.
Yeah, much of that was improvised. In fact, so much I think she got pissed. I think I read someplace that she got pissed. Like
He was doing handsy or what?
well, no, when they were doing like the stuff at the organ.
I was born to love you,
I was born
to lick your face,
Oh, you talking? Oh, okay, no. Yeah, I
was
got you.
born
to rub you. But
Unless you, oh, that's it. You were born to rub me first. Let's get in the pool.
Yeah,
I do like the shots because she's there. She's like,
and he's throwing it over his
yeah,
shoulder.
she's just getting loaded. He's like, oh no, you're doing it all wrong.
He's throwing it right over. He's not getting any of
She's
it.
like, sing me a song, and that was the Born to Love You.
That's
song.
right. So she got pissed because she didn't know between that scene or the scene where he dumps the oil on her back. She didn't know like when he was going to stop.
Or doing what? Yeah.
It's one thing to ad lib, right? But it's another thing for that ad libbing to go on for so long or to get so far off track that you don't know when you, as the other actor, is going to come in.
Right, you're
So-
just waiting and waiting.
Well, she does kind of laugh and stuff in some of those scenes
yeah.
where she's just like trying to hold it in. But you are with Chevy Chase, who's been an actor for a while, and he
Right.
knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing.
Just roll
But
with it.
And she
yeah.
knew what she was doing.
Like in his house, they were like, "Who?" She goes, "Who's your decorator?" Benny Hanna.
Yeah, he did have a lot of that shit in there. Yeah,
And then
Swords.
he has like a bow and arrow and stuff. He's like, "I'm getting ready for the season." She's like, "What? What did she say?" Something. He's like, "No, dolphin."
Yeah, yeah. Well, your uncle molests collies.
Yes.
All right. Well, the next day opens up at that Rolling Hills Yacht Club. Judge Smales is there to christen his new sloop, the Flying Wasp, while Cervic is wreaking havoc on the marina in his oversized yacht. In the meantime, Lacey hooks up with Danny, and the two are later caught at the Smales house. That night, Carl is asked to caddy for the Bishop during a torrential downpour.
yes, that's another part. So they're in Nebraska. So is there any, like a body of water like that. You know what I mean? In Nebraska, like a lake that big. I mean, I guess it's possible.
There's got to be a lake.
Yeah, that size though with all them yachts. And actually, that's actually probably. I think they filmed that in Florida, so that was probably like in the Gulf.
That was another like cheesy part,
right.
the Hell's Angels guys on the.
But that boat, those clothes are. I like that sport with the captain's hat and the cool
blue.
looking. Yeah.
So when Danny actually shows up, he's actually dressed mirror image of Judge Smales. The Spalding says to him, "Ahoy polloi, where'd you come from? A Scotch ad?"
Scotch ad, yeah.
It's like, he looks nice. You two look like a bunch of boogies.
This was another the classic recitation of right before he christens the sloop. It's easy to grin when your ship comes in. Classic. I mean, that's awesome. But that's old man white humor.
Right.
Like, to him, that's the funniest thing he's ever heard.
Right.
A man who can smile. Or something when your pants are too tight at the seat. I'm sure you have it written down.
I do. So, but the man worthwhile is the man who could smile when his shorts are too tight in the seat. Okay, Pookie.
Then she goes to christen it and she breaks the whole front off.
Yep, breaks it off. Let's see. When Cervic throws the anchor and it goes through what's his name's boat. When it goes through Smales' boat, he's like, "Whoa, you scratched my anchor."
Yeah.
Well, Smales' boat is just sinking. This is also the part where, again, so that the torrential downpour for the bishop, it's before that Carl's doing the Cinderella story. Bill Murray's he's hitting all the flowers with the.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's like hometown boy, Masters, 248 yards, about 5 iron, I think.
Completely ad-libbed.
Yes.
Completely
Oh,
ad-libbed.
wow.
Which most of
A
his.
lot of it is, yeah.
If you
go ahead.
No, please go.
No, I was saying they also said Chevy Chase and Bill Murray hated each other at this time.
Yeah, they didn't. And Ted Knight didn't like any of them.
Yeah,
that's true.
They all there was a lot of like tension. They said. I mean, there was a lot of people that partied, mostly like
Rodney.
Yeah, and Chevy Chase, but like Bill Murray tried to stay out of shit. Ted Knight, like he said, I think he was like, this isn't even really like a cool movie. Like I think
he was almost like his character then.
Yeah,
so
he hated it.
Hated it. The bishop got struck by lightning. I mean, the bishop, like he hits his ball into a hole and a frog jumps out, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, it was like a downpour.
Absolute downpour.
I don't think the heavy stuff's coming down for a while, Bishop.
It's true.
I know what he's saying though, man. You got like a round like that of golf, and you're hitting it good. And
you don't want to stop.
You don't want to stop.
You just don't want to stop. Well, the next day opens with Danny fearing for the worst for his livelihood after having been caught at the Smales house. Fortunately for Danny, the judge is more concerned with keeping Lacey and Danny's dalliance hush-hush than he is with reprimanding Danny. So concerned, in fact, that he awards Danny with the scholarship. And that's good news for Danny, as he just that same morning learned from his girlfriend Maggie that she fears she's pregnant. Meanwhile, Judge Smales has had enough of Cervic and his obnoxiousness. The gauntlet is thrown. Cervic proposes a golf match between he and the judge, each with a partner of their choice. Smale chooses Dr. Beeper. Cervic chooses Ty Webb. Each person is wagering $20,000. That evening, Maggie and Danny celebrate the good news that she's not pregnant. Carl is busy fashioning little animals out of plastic explosives. And while practicing for tomorrow's big round, Ty plays through Carl's shack on the course.
That was, I was mentioning earlier, they didn't like each other, so that scene they said was very uncomfortable, but I think they made it pure movie magic.
Yeah.
So I've heard that too. I wasn't sure whether that was a rumor. Now I know they didn't like each other on Saturday Night Live. Did that carry over into this?
Yeah, they didn't even really talk. That was the first time that they had to be like together on set, like doing doing that together.
Chevy Chase and Bill Murray, you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first and last time that they were ever in a movie scene together.
Oh, really? I wonder what they're like today. Like if they talk or if they're friendly or.
I mean, something. I guess it's internal between them. I don't know. Like they never really spoke of it, or
it just would seem odd because they're
two comedians
and they roll with the same circles. You know what I'm saying? And that they, I found that surprising. I forget what other movie we did that we were talking, but it seems like I hear that a lot about Chevy Chase. That
he has a history of being a jerk.
That he, like, people don't like him. That people, I've heard that on other.
Remember, he had his own talk show. Do you guys recall that?
I don't
Really?
remember
Yes.
that.
Like
Talk show, like
talk show,
like
like-
Arsenio Hall type.
Yeah,
Like Montel
Chevy-
Williams?
Yes, Chevy Chase show.
Huh.
It was on late, like 11:30 after the news. When's the news over? 11:30.
Really?
Yeah,
Must not have lasted long.
it didn't
No,
because I think of what you said. It was hard finding
people that
people to get on the show because not a lot of people liked them in Hollywood.
Speaking of show, if you get the opportunity, watch or give Community a shot.
I've seen that. Yeah, like bits and pieces of it.
The humor in that is
Is
humor.
that Joel McHale or whatever?
I'm pretty
Joe
sure.
McHale's funny.
Yeah. You wouldn't get to hear that humor nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know actors' names.
Right.
But the humor is great. Again, it's not something you'd see written now, but it's
Right.
good. Definitely worth watching.
The Chevy Chase show from 1993, one season.
There
Well,
you go.
that explains it. I would have never remembered that.
It also reminds me that was 1993, where I'm lucky if I had time to do anything.
Yeah,
Right.
none of us were like really hanging around watching the Chevy Chase show. We all had our license and
Yeah.
you were going to friends' house doing things.
Yeah, depending on when that came on, and I probably wasn't around watching it, but yeah, I've heard that about Chevy Chase, that he can be kind of hard to get along with. Who knows?
Who knows?
I'd like to meet him. I like all his movies and
Oh
stuff.
my God, yeah. I would totally meet him. I'd love to meet him. I'd love to meet Bill Murray. I'd love to meet basically anybody that was in this movie.
Wouldn't that bum you out though? Like, these guys are kind of like heroes of ours. If you met them and
Yeah.
they were total dicks, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like in your head you just expect, but chances are,
And I've heard the same about Bill Murray, like on set. Like, so Chevy Chase might be a dick in real life, right? But
Mhm.
Bill Murray's a dick on set.
really hard to
or
get
vice
along.
versa, one of the two. Like, it's hard to get along with Bill Murray for something, and I think it has to do with like when he's acting.
Mm.
I know Bill Murray has like a huge cult following. Like he has like the Chive. Like I guess they pretty much worship Bill Murray. He has his own line of golf clothing. It's
What's the Chive?
like Chive. It's like
Is that a website or something?
yeah, it's
Is it like the Onion?
kind of yeah, pretty
Okay.
much. It's like really smart kids that got together. And
That's why. I mean, I'm just thinking because
I
a
don't think
chive
it's-
is a
yeah.
type of onion.
Mm-hmm.
but it's a really funny website.
Into something. Anyways, the next day, the big day, the day of the big showdown between Cervic, Smales, and their respective partners. Not long into the game, the bet doubles to $40,000 apiece. Ty and Cervic are having a tough go at it, and Ty is fading fast. Danny is faced with a decision. Side with Judge Smales, who holds his future in his hands with the scholarship, or take Cervic's offer to step in for Ty. Well, Danny chooses Cervic and helps to bring his and Ty's team back into contention for winning. It's the last hole. The game's all tied up. Judge Smales pulls out old Billy Baru for help and sinks his last putt. With only Danny left to putt, the bet has doubled yet again. $80,000. He has to sink this last shot to win. With a great putt and a little help from Carl's explosives, it's in the hole, and the Gopher lives.
The Gopher lives after all that. You had to laugh at D'Annunzio's golf gear. He kind of dressed like Zorro a little bit. His golf outfit.
He
Yeah.
had like a scarf.
It was all black.
Yeah.
And like just had like a Zorro look. But
Just that I think it was made just to look like a stereotypical, like greasy Italian.
yeah, like
like-
wardrobe or whatever.
Yeah,
that he
some
was
like
wearing.
some kid that grew up in Newark.
Right, that wants to dress like classy for
Newark.
the
Yeah,
like. Oh, you got to dress classy for the country club. Let me put on this.
Yeah, this is all I
That's
have at the
classy.
house,
Mhm.
so I can get with my Caddyshack money.
Fun
Uh,
fact.
fun fact. What is it? Is this the fun fact about Spalding picking his nose?
No,
Okay.
Billy Baru. I actually have a Billy Baru putter. I'll have to go get it and show you guys.
what?
In my bag, yeah.
Billy Baru.
Yeah,
That's a thing?
yeah. So golf company called Ray Cook. Ray Cook makes putters,
Okay.
and they had put out a series of putters called Billy Baru. So I have a putter just by chance with, it's a Billy Baru Model 2. I'm watching this movie, and he says, for that last shot,
Oh, Billy.
pull out old Billy Baru. And I'm like, I told my son, I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Pause that real quick. I went out and got it out. I'm like, look, Billy Baru. So I have a putter. I'll bring it down. I'll
That
show you
is
guys.
amazing. I thought that was made up. I never looked into what the hell a Billy Baru was.
It was made up at that time, but
Got it.
that movie spawned this Ray Cook golf
to make something called Billy Baru.
Right.
Okay.
And I think that Ray Cook, they make putters in different clubs, but they had spawned off, which is probably the best putter in golf right now, is the Scotty Cameron.
Okay.
If you want the best of the best, that's what Tiger Woods uses, is Scotty
yeah,
Cameron.
a lot of the pro PGA
Yeah,
tours.
I think
he's an Odyssey.
Odyssey putters
Yeah,
are
Those
Odysseys are good
Odyssey
too.
are good.
But this Scotty Cameron, I think, worked for Ray Cook at one time and helped develop clubs. But you have to bring down the Billy Baru and get a picture with it or something. Maybe
Sure,
put it on the
absolutely,
website.
we should. Oh, so many good lines from Cervic in this golfing thing in their tournament. He's like, "That kangaroo stole my ball," or with like when he hits the ball and it ricochets back to him.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my arm!
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's where they have to switch. And
Right.
old Noonan, who has like the sweetest golf swing ever on film. Like,
Yeah.
like, oh, he must have just practiced like this swing, not even hitting the ball, but
Just the practice swing
Yeah.
or whatever.
I think I read someplace that many of these actors had never golfed before.
Yeah, I did hear that too, and I forget which ones they said learn just for.
I
you
know Dr. Beeper was one. I think Danny Noonan was one too.
Probably. I think like I didn't start golfing until 28 years old.
dang.
I had never golfed, and
I might be right around there.
Yeah.
I might have not. Yeah, I might have been close to 30 by the time I started golfing.
and I regret it because I love the game, and I wish I would have learned at an early age.
Yeah.
Where I grew up, like golf, your football, baseball, basketball, ran track. That was it. There were no other sports like that I knew anybody that played. There was a couple kids that played soccer. They had to travel like out to the suburbs.
Yeah.
There was no soccer teams, and golf was not even on the radar.
Right.
Even in high school.
Right.
I didn't. Did we have a golf team? when
We
were-
did.
Mr.
That's right, Cernugal. That's right.
Yeah.
Tony Cernugal.
Yep.
But my son played baseball from the time he was 5
Mhm.
all the way up through high school here, and he played up to his sophomore year, and he decided to give it up after so many years. And I said, "Well, take up golf." I said, "It's a great sport." And he started his junior year, now it'll be his senior year, and he loves it.
Yeah.
So golf's a
It's a challenge, man. I think that's what I typically I know for years I hated the game because I was so shitty. At the same time, I remain shitty, but I'm more and more learning to enjoy the game. And as I enjoy it, I want to get better, which makes me
Right.
want to practice, which makes me again enjoy the game more. It's a great cause and effect circle.
You see it on TV or whatever, but you really can't appreciate it unless you try it yourself
Right.
to
Yeah,
realize
what they
how,
do, yeah.
how hard that game really is.
Yeah.
If you were to count like every stroke, every time you hit it out of bounds, like you're golfing like 120.
Yeah, I actually enjoy when they struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see them like do something,
Like,
you're
at
like,
least
"Ah."
it makes you don't feel so
Yeah.
bad. But we always joke around. That was a $35 shot. Like when you're playing around and you nail a drive, and it's like that's the one that's going to bring you back. If any of our listeners out there haven't golfed, you hit one good shot, you're going to be hooked.
Yeah.
And
It
that's
only
how
takes that
goes.
one, just that one.
Right. And I wonder how many people this movie inspired to go golf.
Oh, a ton.
Just to pick up the clubs and
Sure.
And if you are learning, or if you're just try like golf a tournament and stuff with your friends, like a better ball tournament, or those are fun.
The 4-man scrambles.
Yeah, 4-man scrambles. Those are always fun. It'll get you more into the game.
I just did one of those last week or the week before.
a best ball.
Last week. Oh yeah, it was. I did a scramble. It was for Steelton Fest.
Nice.
Saw a bunch of old cats out there.
When's the MCD one?
August.
They have the current. Yeah, I don't know why we don't get an ODB team in that.
Well, that's funny you talked about that. Actually, I was talking to Juice, and he was saying about we should do an ODB like scramble, like sponsor one for the podcast. Like you know what I mean? You basically you can match it up with like a charity or something like that, and money goes towards charity and to help your podcast out or whatever. But you do like an ODB invitational, and you go to like one of these country clubs or golf courses. Hey, we want to do a scramble, and
if you have any money laying around, if you'd like to give to the ODB Scramble Fund,
Here's an uncashed check for $70,000.
yeah,
Keep
keep
it.
it.
keep it, yeah. I'm sure Officer Vince will come down.
Yeah.
we'd probably get some people
We could get
that
some
would
people,
shit out,
yeah.
and there's people definitely locally that would check it out.
Hey Moose, Rocco, help the judge find his checkbook.
Find his checkbook, right.
Since we're on topic.
Fun
Fun
facts. Oh, I guess it's that time,
I
huh?
never tire of that.
Yay, fun facts.
So, what do you got?
Caddyshack was loosely based on, they said Bill Murray growing up with his, I think he had 6 or 7 brothers or something like that. He had
Really?
nine in his family, yeah. But I guess that's what they based the Noonan family on. And when he was younger, I guess he worked at like selling hot dogs, like the 9th hole.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
golf course.
awesome. Ramus he worked at a golf course. He was a caddy.
Yes, he was a caddy.
Yeah.
Back in Illinois,
Yeah, and Bill Murray actually was, he would like work on a golf course.
It's awesome.
So back to that Billy Baru putter, that actual club from the movie sold at auction for $16,000. They actually had it up online on
That's
eBay.
awesome.
And it was surprising to me, and somebody pointed out in the comments in the story I read that Bill Murray wouldn't have bought it because he's a big-time golf lover, of the game and
Actually,
everything.
yeah, he's a pretty good golfer.
That for $16,000, that's probably a drop in the bucket for him that he wouldn't want a piece of that movie, but there again, maybe he left it for the fans.
But he was in the
Somebody's a big
movie.
fan.
Like, you don't need a piece of it. He'll live timelessly through.
True that he's in it, stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I thought that was interesting.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
Like I said, the opening shot was the Westgate of Bel Air, which is, a wealthy part of L.A. And that's, that first opening scene.
The prince lives
Yeah, Fresh Prince
of Bel Air.
Do you guys remember a TV show? We didn't really watch it. I guess. I mean, I saw reruns of it on Channel 43 growing up. But Flipper.
Yeah.
They
I
call
remember
him
the
Flipper.
dolphin.
Faster than light.
Yes, that was the voice of the gopher.
Interesting.
They used Flipper soundtrack, and I was like,
Yes, for the gopher. Yeah, I did hear that.
That was the gopher sound effect.
So I'd never noticed it, but the woman who played Maggie O'Hooligan, that was the same chick from the Animal House. She was
really?
the dean's daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, this was described as Animal House on a golf course.
Makes sense.
That's what they said. The success of Animal House in '78, Harold Ramis and all that are like to duplicate it.
Yeah.
He came out and he had a couple other like crazy ass movie ideas that were off the wall, and they ended up going with this one. Though.
Ghostbusters.
Well, that was later.
Yeah.
There was another one in between, some dealing with Nazis and something. It was some. It was
Not Stripes.
No. This is like after
Stripes is
Animal
good.
House. He had pitched a couple other movies.
Inglorious Bastards.
Nah, this is in the late 70s, 79. Yeah, it could have been that one though.
Mm.
But they were like, yeah, that.
Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, I
That's a
didn't
good
see
one,
that one yet.
You need to see that. It's a good movie.
So I know we talked about it earlier that like Ted Knight hated making this movie. He hated it because of the rowdiness, the drug use, the constant partying, which I think is what is associated with Animal House. Like because the cast of Animal House, they were doing the same thing.
Rowdy.
Just drinking, coking it up all night, like doing what it was a party every goddamn night. And so Ted Knight absolutely hated it because this is a very professional actor, like a very well trained actor, shows up on time every day, is ready to do his lines. These people are showing up. Well, number one, they all stayed at the same hotel, so they're up all night keeping him up. Then they come late the next day and they look like shit and they're hungover and they're terrible.
They should have called him Ted Silent Night.
It's quite
That's like a horror movie.
I like what you did there. It was a fit of coincidence then that this was Ted Knight's last film.
Yeah, I saw that. And the Ellen Aiken. I don't know which character.
Alan Arkin.
Alan Arkin.
Alan
No, that
Arkin.
was not his
last film.
Mm.
And that Ellen Aiken.
Ellen Aiken.
She was Julie Noonan, Danny's mother.
Oh,
Small part.
I didn't. She had a small talking part. I did not include her in my list of the cast.
Yeah.
So Ted Knight, I guess he was. I know him from the one sitcom. Growing
Too
up.
Close for Comfort.
Too close.
Yeah, he
for
had the
comfort.
two daughters.
With the puppet.
Yeah, he was the puppeteer.
I love that one.
With Jim J. Bullock.
Jim J. Yeah,
Yes,
he was
that
cool in there.
I remember growing up watching that.
Hell yeah.
But I don't know him in any movies. I mean, I watch a lot of movies. I didn't see him in many.
I relate to Ted Knight in this movie in a way. Like, I know people like make him the villain in the movie, but in reality, you think about it, like
He's just trying to keep order, man.
He like country clubs are like a place of it's not supposed to be rowdy and all that. He probably worked all his life, to join this club.
He's a judge. I mean, that
Right.
takes a while to get there.
And here's this guy coming in, just wild and loud and all that stuff. Just
So
kind of-
Shervick's a bully. It's like reverse bully.
sort of.
So Cervic actually showed up. He said he showed up as a guest or whatever. No, he just made his way onto the course, lied about being a guest. He wanted to scope the place out to potentially turn it into condos.
Yes.
Yeah,
one of the condos.
he had the money though. He could have easily
Absolutely.
joined or bought. He said, "I'll buy this place." He made a comment in the one scene.
Yeah. Buy Bushwood.
What would he say? Cemeteries and country clubs are a waste of prime real estate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they said that a bigger menace to a golf course would be a mole. Actually, gophers would stay away from greens.
Interesting.
So
So speaking of menace to the course and all that shit, it makes sense. So Cervic is next door expanding one of his or building a condo situation next to the golf course. So it's because of him building that the gopher was rustled up
around.
and relocated from there. It moved from there into the quieter golf course.
That's crazy.
Hmm.
So originally for the part of Al Cervic, they were considering Don Rickles.
I do have that.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
That would have been good.
And you have Mickey Rourke for Danny Noonan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they said
What?
Yeah.
Mickey Rourke.
Really?
Yeah, but they said he was a little older. He's like 27.
And he was too
28.
rough. Like he didn't have that comic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was gristly,
Yeah.
grungy.
He had some hard days.
He could have been the Nunzio or whatever.
Yeah, he would
could have played that part.
But he didn't look Italian.
Nah,
enough.
but he was kind of like tougher guy.
to be stereotypical, but he doesn't look Italian.
Oh, I know we mentioned. God, what's his name? The singer.
John Cicada.
No, not John Cicada. Come on, man. Who sang this?
George Michael. Kenny Loggins.
Kenny Loggins. Thank
yeah.
you, Kenny Loggins. Fun fact: actually, Pink Floyd was intended to write the music, but they weren't. They were approached and they weren't available.
Oh, really? That would have been wild.
Yeah, I don't know if this movie doesn't need a trippy opening weird song.
I can see somebody coming in like, by the way, which one's Pink?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like that style. I don't get that at all.
Yeah, that would have been weird.
Kenny Loggins fit in just quite well.
Hell yeah.
So Jeff Burke, he was the puppeteer that created the Gopher. They paid him $5,000 to create that.
You said all those scenes too were done after the movie.
To create it, but he didn't do the movement.
I don't know if he did or not.
My sources have Tim Lawrence.
Maybe he was the actual.
Tim.
Yeah, as the puppeteer. Now again, you tell me some dude came up with some John. That's fine, but
maybe,
I don't know.
Maybe he created, like, built it or made it or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know that he actually like controlled it or whatever. Doesn't say that.
Hand jobbed it.
Hand jobbed it. Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's funny. My oldest daughter, we were going to visit colleges years ago, and there was a small college in Pittsburgh. I'm trying to think. They have like a museum there for
Golf clubs.
No.
Gophers.
No, but anyway, this small college, I cannot think of the name. I know the Pittsburgh Steelers. If any Pittsburgh Steelers fans, you can name this college when you get into the mailbag. But they had a whole school of like puppetry there.
Interesting.
It's like a big puppet school.
Not Duquesne, is it?
No.
Was it Pittsburgh University?
No, it was not Pittsburgh University. It's a small Catholic school, actually. Cannot think of it.
Our Lady of St. Copious.
St. Promontis.
But St. Promontis.
St. Promontis. Pray for us. No, it was. Oh my gosh! I can't believe.
It's where Danny went to college or was going to go to college. As he's talking to the guy who was.
In Harvard. Is it Harvard Law?
Yeah. No, it's St. Copious of where?
He had no idea.
I'm going to law school.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to get high? Hey, I've only got enough for 2, man. So, all right,
She's like scream or beat it, whatever the guy's name was. Yeah, little Lacey. She's a little player.
She was a Lucy Lacey. She was lean, mean, and not too far between.
So in that beginning opening scene with Danny riding his bike, he actually passes a house. It was the Tate's house that he used in the sitcom Soap. He had the exterior of it.
P.S. Soap is quite possibly one of my favorite sitcoms of all time.
Yeah.
I love that show.
Who was the black guy in that in Soap?
Robert Guillaume.
And he played Benson, right?
Benson.
Yeah, Benson.
That's what I was going to say.
Later was a spinoff.
That was a spinoff.
Yes.
So
it was his own show.
Yeah. I remember that. Soap and Benson. I remember Benson more than Soap.
Yep.
Yeah.
What was the one? Cracks into China. Never seen it before.
Mr. Belvedere.
Who cares?
That's Mr. Belvedere.
Yes, that was a good one too.
Mr. Belvedere, yeah.
There's actually Streaks on the China.
Is that what
Never
it was?
mentioned before. Who cares? When you drop kick your jacket as you came through the door, no one glared.
Yeah.
But sometimes things get turned around and no one cares or no one stares. According to our new arrival, life is more than mere survival. We're going to live the good life yet.
We're going to live the good life yet.
That was sung by a guy named Redbone. It was Leon Redbone is the guy's name.
Oh, wow.
I think you're going to say
Redman.
Redman. Yeah.
Definitely not Redman.
Yeah.
So yeah, Leon Redbone sang that track from Mr. Belvedere.
Those are all good shows. So
Shit, yeah, Kenny.
Great sitcoms.
Yeah.
Silver Spoons.
Oh, Silver Spoons
Did you guys
forever.
like that?
Dude, all I wanted when I grew up was to be that kid.
Yeah.
I wanted to be everything that kid had, or have everything that kid had.
And had Alfonso Ribeiro as your next door neighbor.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Silver
Schroeder.
Spoon.
Danny
Yeah,
Schroeder.
Ricky Schroeder.
Ricky Schroeder.
Yeah.
The Ricker.
Yeah, the Ricker.
The Ricker.
They all had them shows like everyone was like a deep one. Like, there was like booze missing or
Yeah. Like
there's like a bully in
crowd goes,
school.
"Ooh."
Yeah.
ooh. There was an episode at Silver Spoons where there was actually a homeless family that was living in a cave.
What?
I recall that one. Yes.
Dude,
They didn't know what to do. They wanted to bring him in. And,
Yeah. So anyway, Edward Stratton the third. Actually ended up giving him a job at Eddie Toys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude, they lived in a goddamn cave. Like they had lost their money, lost their job, lost their house, and it was snowing outside.
Wow.
Wait, did they base that off of Richie Rich, or was Richie Rich based off of
I think
Richie Rich was way older.
Yeah,
than
that's
Sober
been
Smoke.
around.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's what they based the show off of.
Ish, yeah, sure.
Ish.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Mostly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah.
Car doors go like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
80s sitcom review. We should do that.
Oh yeah.
We
Good
could
one.
spend, I promise you, I could spend episode after episode talking about 80 shows.
I'd have to go back and watch a lot of them because I don't remember. I just remember the names and but I wouldn't remember specific episodes.
Soap is
Anything like
replayed
that.
on the regular. Soap
Mhm.
is definitely replayed on the regular. I watch it, I tape it, even though I can get it all on demand.
Mm-hmm.
Benson is relatively on the regular just as much.
Mm.
Like it's worth it. It's on either Me TV or Antenna TV.
One of them too.
Yeah, all of the time.
And there were like so many spin-offs too on the 80s sitcoms.
Truth.
Like you
Yeah.
see one that you like and all of a sudden like it's another show.
Yeah, it's like make another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like podcast
Yeah.
spinoff.
There's not many out there.
Yeah.
Nice.
So listen to ours.
Right. What was the other one here I want to talk about? Fun fact. Oh, that one about, so we said that. We talked about how they grew up in Chicago, the writers, so they kind of based that on their whole thing. And they did say, and I'm telling you, I read that a few places. This is based in Nebraska, but the Rolls Royce that
Shervick.
no, not Shervick was driving, that
Oh,
Ted Knight was
yeah.
driving, had Illinois plates on it.
Oh.
So who knows?
Well, maybe it's a judge in Chicago moved to Nebraska.
He's vacationing in Nebraska.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say real quick the Baby Ruth scene. They wanted to liken to Jaws.
Yeah, they
And,
were based
yeah.
on that. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to say. The scene earlier, and I'm wondering how the timing came with these movies, but that scene where Ted Knight was chasing Danny through the house and into the bathroom,
Yeah.
and smashing the bathroom door
Yeah.
and looking in, like it reminded me of The Shining.
Shining,
Yeah.
And I
absolutely.
was
Yeah,
wondering if
because
that,
with the axe.
because that came out in 1980 as well.
Hmm.
Like if that was out soon, like if that would have been out in time for them to
Yeah.
connect the two. You know
And
what
if
I'm saying?
not, that's a hell of a coincidence.
Coincidence.
Well,
Yeah.
that is a funny scene because Danny's in the bathroom and the Smales' wife is in there and she says, "Oh, Eliu, will you loofah my stretch marks?"
Oh, yeah.
Bah,
He was puking.
bah.
Hmm. She was into it. She
Sure.
was getting him in the eye. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I was gonna say
Mhm.
after they started filming this movie, there was a hurricane that hit Florida and it delayed production and everything. There was earthworms on the floor of the hotel where the cast was
Yeah.
staying. It was
I can see
a
that.
big mess.
I can see that. I see that now. I mean, if it rains hard enough, all of the earthworms come screeching out of the ground
Yeah.
because they'll drown in that, John.
The first cut of this movie was over 4 hours long.
Dang.
Yeah, it was a 256-page script that,
Huh.
that they had written up. They had to cut it. They're like, it's way too long, obviously.
That is news.
And then Rodney's outfits. That was one thing that stood out to me. He had like the wildest shit on all the time, like
Of
purple
course.
pants and like I think he started out with like green pants, a red coat, or
Yep.
vice versa, and like just colors everywhere. And
He had to be. He was the flashy guy. He was the life of the party.
yep, for sure.
Mm.
No, but I love this movie. I mean, that's really all I got for fun facts.
Yeah, I'm glad
I
we did this
Really
one.
enjoyed it. So, you guys got anything else we missed, fun fact wise?
No, I had Harold Ramis.
Yeah, that's pretty much anything.
No, we squeezed the
touch
shit
on?
out of this sponge.
Right. So I'll get a picture of Billy Baru putter. We'll put that up on the social media. Make sure you go over there and follow that.
Technology.
We just have a Old Dirty Basement for the Vintage Cinema review. So right now we just have that social media. I don't think I'm gonna start like a second one at this point, but
So let's say it's 1980. You're we'll upper ages. Say we're like 15, 16 at the time.
yeah.
You go to you rent this movie. I don't know if there's rentals at that time,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, you get this movie. What are you doing with it?
Who wants to start?
I'll go.
Go ahead, Zap.
I will late fee.
Late fee.
I would definitely late fee this just for the one-liners alone. I would watch this, assuming that I'm popping this in the old VCR.
Mm-hmm.
I would want to watch this as many times as humanly possible to remember to be able to recite all the
recite
lines
it.
in this movie.
Matt, what you got?
I think I would agree. I would try to, yeah. But see, the thing is, we're so fortunate to where we are today, like to see this so many times. Like anytime it's on, I usually leave it on in the background, doing stuff around the house.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think I'd return it late. I'd probably have some friends over or something like, dude, you gotta check this out, man. Like just for the Lacey scenes alone.
Yeah, I guess that part too. Yeah. I definitely would want to watch it again. I think I would maybe return it, but much like you said with Office Space, or one of you said you would, try to watch it a couple times at night,
yeah.
just to get it all, take it all in a second time, maybe third time, and then return it the next day. But I can I can feel exactly what you guys are saying with late fee in it. So I think late fee return for me.
Okay.
And
There we
Still
go.
good one. A good
yeah,
one.
definitely good. Definitely enjoyed it. I remember seeing it as like an 8-year-old. I probably saw it maybe 2 other times since, probably counting last night, 3 times now total. So, I mean, I'm not the type person to watch a movie over and over and over and over again. There's a few movies that I might watch, like Goodfellas, I've seen probably 15 times.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most
Probably
part,
more than that.
probably with it on TV.
Yeah,
I've owned it
yeah.
on every format. Same thing with Halloween. There's certain movies that I'll just watch seasonally. You know,
Sure.
I'll watch them like every year but this is a movie that if it's on, I'll catch it. But, you know, maybe bits of it here and there. But yeah, it's definitely a cool one.
Yeah.
I forget. What's the one next week we were talking about?
I forget.
Yeah, there was one that we kind of were toying around with. Was it Dead Poet Society?
Oh, Dead Poet Society. You guys said maybe.
There it is.
That's a possibility.
Possibility.
Yeah.
And maybe some other. We don't know. We'll see something. Maybe somebody brings something in.
Who knows? I don't know if we'll have enough time.
Yeah. True.
Got to go to Home Depot. Got to go to Bed Bath and Beyond.
Got True Crimes to cover.
Yeah.
Compelling stories over in the Old Dirty Basement. Speaking of which, social media at Old Dirty Basement on Instagram and Facebook, and on TikTok at Old Dirty Basement Podcast. You guys got anything else in closing?
I got nothing else.
No, enjoy Caddyshack.
Yeah. So I guess that's it for now. So we'll catch you where?
On the flip side.
If we don't see you sooner, we'll see you later.
Peace. Thanks for listening to The Vintage Cinema Review in the Old Dirty Basement. If you dig our theme music like we do, check out the Tsunami Experiment. Find them on Facebook. Their music is streaming on Spotify and Apple, and where great music is available.
You can find us at Old Dirty Basement on Facebook and Instagram, and at Old Dirty Basement Podcast on TikTok.
Peace.
We Audi 5000.